This is Lisa Parmley with businessbolts.com, and in this video I just want to talk a little bit about finding high-paying AdSense markets. And I'm sure you already know this, but Google AdWords is the platform businesses use to advertise their stuff on. Google AdSense is for the publishers. You can figure out if the market is going to be a good AdSense market by researching that same market as if you were going to advertise for it using AdWords. So here's exactly what I think you should consider when selecting an AdSense market. The first thing is, does it pay out well? And I'll show you exactly how you can figure that out and do so really quickly by researching AdWords. And the second thing is, does it have competition? And that's because you want there to be at least one page, if not several pages, of AdWords ads running. And that's really about it. So as you can see, it's not rocket science. And the nice thing is these two factors usually go hand in hand. That's because the cost to run an AdWords ad really goes along with how competitive it is. The more competitive, then the more ads that you've got that are fighting for number one, and the higher the bids go. So it's kind of like an auction. The more people who want the item, in this case position number one for AdWords, the higher the price goes. So that's what we want: higher AdWords costs and lots of competition. Again, in theory, you really shouldn't find one without the other, but it probably does exist. Somewhere out there, you've probably got a couple of, real idiots that are just bidding each other higher and higher, fighting for position one on the search engine results page. So you don't want to pick that market if you want to make it easier for yourself, and I can show you how to avoid that. To find high-paying AdSense keywords and markets, you really don't need to buy anything, and I know there are a lot of tools out there that promise you the moon, but you really don't need any of those. All you need is access to an AdWords account or the free traffic estimator tool put out by Google, and then you'll also look at the Google search results pages. So both of those are free, and it makes it really easy. Here's exactly what I suggest you do. Use the traffic estimator so that you can see the estimated costs for AdWords as if you're actually going to bid on a particular keyword. But instead of using it for your AdWords campaigns, you just use it for research. So all you really want to do is make sure that the key phrase costs more than a few cents to bid on, and that there are other people bidding on it. $1 per click is probably the minimum for the okay range as far as your payouts go. So if you pick a market where there's a lot of keywords or phrases that cost about $1 per click or more, then you'll have an easier time earning money with AdSense. So here I went to the traffic estimator and typed in a few space-related key phrases, just so that we can see what turns up. I didn't type in very many, so here you can see I have a few that I've copied and pasted that popped into my head, and then I just set my maximum CPC, which is the cost per click, to $100, so as if I would bid $100 per click on the key phrase, just so that I'm at the high end. And then I also set my maximum daily budget to something really high, like $1,000. And you're not actually going to bid on this stuff, so you want to set it high just so you can see how it goes, see what other people are really bidding on in this market. And so here, once you get all that set up, we can see what happened. And for this selection, Google claims the average cost per click is over $1 for most of these terms. But if you notice, most of them get really low click volumes. The only thing that's really any good out of this list are the telescope searches. But not everyone who wants to learn about astronomy wants to buy a telescope. And that was kind of what I was going for, to kind of simulate what it might be like for, an astronomy type site that you might set up. So, just by doing this, and, I admit this isn't a very exhaustive search. If I were doing it for myself or for a client, I would spend more time. I would go and I would find more, astronomy or space related key phrases. But just for this example, I've just got a few for you. And we can already kind of see that it's not really very good as far as AdSense goes. And the biggest problem here is that no one's bidding on these terms. And to really, check this, all you need to do is go to Google and type in the key phrases. And here I am at Google, and in this case we can see that there just aren't any advertisers for these words. No one's bidding on moon. No one wants to run ads for learn about galaxies. That's just because no one's got anything to sell for these key phrases. So for a site targeting astronomy, Adsense just doesn't have a whole lot of targeted ads. So hopefully people are searching for other things, and then the Adsense running on your site would show what they had previously searched for. Like in my example back at the site, web hosting or SEO or iPhones. And it's kind of the same thing with a lot of markets. They just don't have a whole lot of targeted ads, but the Adsense code can figure out what people had typed into Google prior to coming to your site. So then they can see, that they are interested in this other stuff, and then they can hopefully run ads that will kind of be the best fit for them. But it's not really going to get you as high of a click-through rate or as high of payouts as if you had targeted ads running. And it's not just astronomy, it's the same with celebrity sites. There wouldn't be as many targeted ads, but you can still earn fairly well if you drive enough visitors back to your site. But then on the flip side, imagine how many advertisers are running ads in the automotive market or in the insurance market or finance. And if you build a site around one of these topics, and then plus, there are a lot of AdSense advertisers in those markets, then you're going to make it a lot easier on yourself, just because there are a lot more targeted ads that are going to be running on your website. So here I'm back at the Google AdWords keyword tool, and I thought I'd just try another market, this time the skincare market. Obviously skincare is a pretty big deal, and there are lots of products that are sold in this market. So just off the top of my head, I had typed in a few skincare related key phrases. Then I'm going to set it up for $100 maximum cost per click, with this time like a $10,000 daily budget. And you can always play around with this, but the point is we want to see what it would be like if we were a really big advertiser. See, how many clicks we could get and how much they would cost, and that way it kind of gives us a better idea of what's going on in the marketplace. And so after I've got all this set up, I now see my average cost per click is a lot higher than $1. It's a few dollars, $5, $7, and that there are a ton of clicks per day that are possible. And I don't end it at this tool though, because I don't trust it completely. I'd rather go and see what happens when I type a few of these key phrases into Google and just see what's really going on with AdWords. And here, as you can see, when I type face cleanser into the Google search box, there's a ton of AdWords ads that show up. We can also try another one, let's say wrinkle cream, and again, there's a ton of advertisers with products trying to sell different types of wrinkle creams, and it may even be that there's more than one page full of ads. But the main thing is, if I create a site around skincare, and I'm targeting these types of key phrases, which I would imagine I would, just because they're really relevant to skincare, then getting enough really targeted AdSense ads to show up is not going to be a problem. And that's really all you need to do. I know it doesn't sound very hard, and it really isn't. All you need to do is just get some key phrases that relate to your market, and then type them into the Google AdWords keyword tool, and make sure people are bidding a decent amount for the ads, and then go make sure there's a bunch of ads showing up on Google. Some of the key phrases you type in the tool won't be bid on, and others will, but if most of them are, then that's a great sign. One thing I want to mention about the cost per click and your revenue is that Google came out a couple of years ago and said they give the advertisers 60-something% of the revenue from their ads. So you'll get a fair amount of the revenue, but the thing is, visitors to your site won't always be clicking on the top paying ad. Sometimes they'll click on an ad that costs the bidder less money. So what you're seeing is the maximum you can make. Plus, advertisers usually pay less to place ads on the content network, and that's the AdSense network. They pay more to run on Google, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. So these numbers are not what you're actually going to make. So the higher that maximum cost per click number is, the better. If you see $5 per click estimates, then that's great. Some AdWords ads cost $20 per click and even higher. And in these markets, you might even see a ton of companies fighting for the top ad space. So those are really great markets to get into. So you really just need to play around with this tool and check out the Google search results pages if you want to get into a decent paying AdSense market. Or you can try to make up for it with volume in one that's not. And here's another thing that I wanted to point out, just because it's really important. I don't suggest building a site if the only way to profit from it is AdSense. If there aren't any lead generation or affiliate programs, then I'd suggest you look for something else, because you really don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So go around and check other sites in your market and see if they're running any good ads that make sense for you to run. With skincare, there are many affiliate programs in addition to advertisers using the AdWords network. One way you can find this out is to just look around at the sites with products or services in your market and see if they have affiliate programs. And many do in the skincare market. So that would be one that would be okay. That way, if you build a great site around skincare or around a more narrow market within skincare, you know that you don't have to limit yourself to AdSense earnings only. So if something happens to your AdSense account, you can always try to earn through another means, like an affiliate program, and you won't be out of business. And you may even want to try to put both on some of the pages of your site, so affiliate and AdSense ads, as long as you can do so, just to try to increase your earnings, or to have some pages that may only have affiliate ads on it. It's really up to you, but the main thing is to just make sure that there's other ways for you to earn in addition to AdSense. So that's it for this video. I hope it helps you figure out how to find higher paying AdSense markets, or if you even want to go that way at all. And back on the businessbolts.com site, I'll have more of the AdSense tutorial for you, and you can find that at businessbolts.com/adsense.html. Thanks, and I'll see you there for more AdSense training.